Oh, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome to our Shabbat service from Central Reformed Congregation to all of your homes. This service includes a wonderful bat mitzvah of Lily, and soon you'll see Lily at her home with her family, and we are looking forward to going journeying through this service. And like we saw Lily literally grow up before our eyes in that montage. Bat mitzvah says, we recognize Lily is ready to become a bat mitzvah in our tradition, and that she is becoming more independent and more ready to walk that path. And Lily, this bat mitzvah is a long time coming, isn't it? Lily was supposed to have her bat mitzvah last summer, and of course, because of the pandemic, it was delayed. And now you're an 8th grader, almost becoming a high school student. It is definitely time. And you are definitely ready to become a bat mitzvah, a daughter of this tradition. And we are excited and we are so proud of you. And I know that everyone, your family and friends who are watching, and members of our congregation, people who really looking forward to this service that you're going to help lead, and the Torah that you're going to chant and help to teach. I just want to make sure everyone knows that you're at your home with your wonderful siblings with you, and of course your parents. So hello to Sam and Annabelle and Eloise, and your mom and your dad. I want to tell everybody, and I know that you have grandparents watching from St. Louis and from Omaha. You've got a great grandmother. Where's your great grandmother live, Lily? Where's your great grandma? She's watching as well. And so we're all really excited. I want everyone to know that if you don't have a Siddur, Lily and her family created a wonderful prayer book that I wrote all over, but with an amazing photograph taken by Lily herself. If you don't have one, you can go to our website, centralreform.org, click on live stream, and you'll see Lily's bat mitzvah siddur, and you can download it and follow it. Most of the prayers, almost all of them, will also be overlaid on the screen. So I think everybody will be in great shape to be part of this service with Lily and with the rabbis. And Lily's going to do some stage directions. Jewish prayer often tells us when we sit and when we stand. Obviously, you're at home. You could do what you want. But if you want to follow the customs of sitting and standing, Lily will let you know what it's time for. And I think that's the introduction. This Shabbat has a special name, Shabbat Parah, because it tells us that Passover is coming not too long from now. But before we get Passover, we have a wonderful bat mitzvah to celebrate and lots to be thankful for. And so our first prayer is a song of gratitude for this special Shabbat morning. Modeh, Moda, Ani. So Lily, as our prayer leader and a bat mitzvah, you're going to wear a talit, the prayer shawl that we wear with the fringes that remind us of the mitzvahs that we do, that we're supposed to do. And also it reminds us that we are not only embraced by our family and community, but you are embraced by your tradition, an ancient tradition filled with warmth and love and hope. And so your grandparents, your grandma and grandpa Bloom Ellis, have made a special video to talk about the talit that you will wear for your bat mitzvah.
Lily Bloom, your name is so fitting. You are a ray of sunshine in my garden. I'm so proud to give you your bat mitzvah talit. Your hard work studying for this day has shown commitment and strength of character. Your true strength has been how you've handled the craziness of the COVID cancellations and quarantines through this extra long process.
So Lily, we hope you'll wear your talit with faith and with pride in your accomplishments and perseverance, and knowing that you're wearing it with the warm embrace of our love.
Lil, we love you so much and are so proud of you. We wish we could be hugging you right now.
Freddie, got anything to add? Air kisses. Love you, sweetheart.
Beautiful. And now your parents will bring you that talit so that you can make the blessing and carry on with helping lead this service.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotah v'tzivanu lehitatech b'tzitzit.
Or not. And it's these wonderful moments in life that fill us up. Even in a difficult, challenging time like we're going through, we rely on holy moments to lift us up and inspire us. And so that's why after moments like that, we're moved to say, Ma Tovu, how good are the deep and rich and meaningful and holy moments that fill our lives with goodness and purpose. Ma Tovu, Hine Ma Tov.
אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה 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 לה, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבט אחים גם יחד, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה. אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
We are continuing on page 4.
Please chant together. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'tzlamo. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has created me in your image. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani b'korim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has made me free. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani Yisrael. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who has made me Israel. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, bokeach ivrim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who opens the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, malish harumim. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who provides clothes for the needy. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, hanoten layafoah. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who gives strength to the weak. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam, asher chayten mitzadei gaber. Blessed are you, the eternal our God, who guides the steps of human beings. Okay.
And the next page.
Yikadal v'kadashme rabba ve'oman divra hirte v'yomot malchite v'chai yechanu v'mechanu v'yedekol be'Yisrael v'agala u'bisman karib v'miru amen yehesh me rabba mevorach le'olam me'omaya v'barach v'tlash v'par v'irman v'naseh v'tatar v'tale v'tala shmei v'shavrihu Leila mikol v'rchata v'shirata tushvachata v'nechemata mira be'alma v'imra amen.
We turn to page 6.
Become a voice. Please rise as we call each other to prayer with the Baruch.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach Baruch Adonai hamevorach hamevorach leolam vaed hamevorach hamevorach leolam
The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light only if we're brave enough to see it. If only we're brave enough to be it.
I love
To live
that.
without
I was going to say, Lily, I'm sorry. I love that you included that poem that was just read at the inauguration, and I just noticed for the first time it uses the word bloom, which is your middle name. So thank you for including that. And now we are on the top of page 7.
Okay. To live without loving is to not really live. Please join me in chanting the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Okay. Please be seated. Okay. Ve'hata et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'chayu haparim ha'ele asher anati mitzvacha hayom al levecha v'shinatan levanecha v'dibarta v'shivta b'techa u'v'lecha v'derech u'shevtecha u'fumecha u'kshotam le'oteidecha v'chayu tedekot b'neinecha u'tatam al levetecha u'visharecha Tisru Vasitam Ko Mitzvatai Isitam Kudoshim Elficam Ani Adonai Elficam Asher Choseti Echem Le'eretz Mitzrayim Liot Lechem Elchim Ani Adonai Elficam. Okay. Together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. Take to heart these words which I command you this day. Teach them diligently to your children. Speak of them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you arise. Bind them as a sign on your hand and serve them as symbols between your eyes. Inscribe them on your doorposts of your house and on your gates. Remember to do all my commandments to be holy to your God. I am your God who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your God. Okay. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended. Not with time, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you.
Leads us perfectly into Michamocha, right? To mend and fix and heal the world in the places where it's broken is our mission. Is the mission of the Jewish people and of all humankind to march forward and make sure that there is liberation and justice and peace for all. Michamocha and Siya Hamba.
גר ישראל.
Continuing on page 12, Lily.
Okay. Please rise. Our greatest responsibility is to be good ancestors.
Before Lily leads us in some of the prayers of the Amidah, we have the opening line from the Psalms, courtesy of Dr. K.B. Frazier.
Prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Joyful noises coming from your Shalom Bayit, your home that is now also a sacred place where where the prayers are being said for Shabbat. And so we continue, Lily, on page 13.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imateinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Ruth Elohei Leah Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Hanaran El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zoher Chasadei Avot Ahimahod V'Muvi Gula Libnei V'Em L'Ma'an Shemo B'Hava Me'elecho Zer U'Mashiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'Sarah. Together, praise be the God of our ancestors, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, of Sarah, of Rebekah, of Leah, and of Rachel. Praise be the source of strength and courage, the source of kindness and good deeds. Praise be the source of gentleness and love, of softness and kind words. Praise be the person who transcends strength through gentleness. Praise be the person who perfects gentleness through strength. Praise be the person who acts accordingly to the best that is within. Praise be the person who reaches out to touch the best in others. Praise be the gentle faithfulness of Abraham, the valiant strength of Sarah. Praise be the God who infuses humanity with divine potential. Do I dare disturb the universe?
It's a great question. Do I dare disturb the universe? I think as we have the next prayer about holiness, a pretty good question to ponder, right? Whether it's right or wrong or good or bad, or sometimes yes and sometimes no, to disturb the universe. We fill in the spaces between us with Kiddushah, with holiness on pages 14 and 15.
כדי ששמך בעולם, כשם שמקישים אותו בשמם הרם, כך כתוב היה נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ויאמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך הארץ כבודו אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו באדיר שמך בכל הארץ ברוך כבוד אדוני צבאות אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישביענו, ורחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גדלך, ונצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
So Lily, we never end any service without a prayer for peace. So I know you feel this. I know this is a value for you. I know this is a value for your whole family. I know the whole idea of this being a more just world, of making sure that this place is fair for everybody, is something that is so core to who you are, to who your family is. So excited that you're going to be a part of what we're calling the Good Trouble Gang, right? Social media interns for good. So we have a moment with a prayer for peace. Sim Shalom Tova Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Chen v'chesed Chen v'chesed v'rachamim Aleinu Israel Amecha Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Sim Shalom Tova
Amen. That was Rabbi Daniel, as you know, Lily, who has been behind the scenes for most of the service, making sure that everything is running smoothly, and a wonderful prayer for peace. Let's, before we move on to the Torah service, let's remind ourselves that it's Shabbat, and so on page, 16. We're on 16, Lily, to prepare us to sing the prayer. that tells us to keep Shabbat, just like we're doing right now.
שמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם מרית עולם. בני ובן בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. לדורותם ברית עולם.
Lily, one more inspiring passage quote from you. Let's on the top of page 16.
Tomorrow is a new day with no mistakes in it yet.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure you got that one in because no day is perfect, but I hope, Lily, that this day that you're becoming bat mitzvah and doing such an amazing job, I hope it feels like a slice of perfection. And that's kind of what Shabbat's supposed to be, a taste of perfection. We say a taste of the world to come. And so we are transitioning from the prayer part of the service to the Torah service. There's a few extra quotes for your Shabbat inspiration on page 17 that everyone can look over and read to themselves. And in just a moment, Rabbi Susan is going to come on and lead you into the Torah service, which is the heart and soul of bat mitzvah.
Lily, we come to this moment when you are about to receive the Torah. I'd like to ask your parents to join you at the Bima. It's good to see all of you. We miss seeing everybody in person, and I know that we expected to have your grandparents there, but I want you to feel them there because you are very much your own unique self, and that's what we're excited about. We're excited that you are about to add your voice to the story of Torah, to the unfolding story of Torah that is always filled with something new, something surprising. Like in your Torah portion, Shalach lecha. Who would have thought, right, that we wouldn't go into the land? There we were at the edge of the land, but it wasn't our time. Even though Joshua and Caleb may have seen the potential and the wonder, it wasn't our time. And so we had to listen, right? You have a long line of people who have helped to shape who you are so that you could come to this moment. I know your mother's people and your father's people have so watched you with wonder grow into the beautiful young woman that you are. What a blessing it is to have two great grandparents who I know are watching and are feeling the potential and the wonder in this moment. And your grandparents, they are standing there with you, helping you to become this wonderful woman that you are becoming as we watch. So I know that Bryce and Eileen, good friends for a long time, David and Leela, and your parents are ready to help you explode into this next chapter of your life. I also feel, your aunts and uncles. I know Paige and Andrew and Brandon, I know they're watching, thinking about how this beautiful young woman is also, about to change the story of your family and your father's siblings, from as far away as Minnesota, Montana, and Nebraska. People from all over are zooming in right now to watch you receive the Torah and to hear what you will do with it. The actual portion for this day is about the sin of the golden calf, which was another kind of challenge like your portion. It was a sin because we, like those 10 spies, that didn't have enough faith to go into the land, there were people who, out of fear, wanted a God they could hold and they could see. Out of fear, didn't hold on to the dream of a better world. There were also people who stood idly by that didn't challenge. Maybe they didn't build the calf, but they also didn't challenge it. So what I've been reading from your covenant and your service is you would have been standing with Moses. You would have been with, Joshua and Caleb. You would have been one of those people with the vision to do the right thing. And so it is really an honor to ask your father, who I stood with at their wedding, right? Long ago. Like a long time ago. Not that long, but so your father holds the Torah with generosity because he agreed, to give you this tradition. It wasn't his tradition, but he, with generosity and beauty of spirit, he said, I will support my daughter and my family in this tradition. And so I thank you, Chris. I so appreciate you, and watching your beautiful family grow has been a real honor. So your father will give this Torah to your mother, who I've also seen grow and grow up and become this mother that she is. And now to give this Torah to you, Lily. Because Lily, you do have your own voice. Lily, you are your own person. Yes, you have a long line of tradition of your father's people and your mother's people that have handed you their Torah. Their Torah. And now it's up to you to add your voice to the long line of this tradition and be a blessing. So if you would, please lead us in the words of the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Now, Rabbi Randy, take it away.
Yes. Wonderful. Lily, you can we have your brother and sisters come up and give you a hand with getting that Torah ready to be chanted by you. So come on up. Oh, there they are. Oh, looking sharp, Sam the man. I like that hat. Eloise and Annabelle and Sam, you can help your sister get that Torah ready. You could pull off the cover there. There you go. Teamwork. What a crew. I love this. There you go. And guys can have a seat and watch your sister from your seats. Good job. Maybe come up at the end. All right, Lily, get yourself set up. Tell me when you're ready. Are you ready? You got everything you need?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I just making sure. So I want to let everyone know before Lily starts her chanting that you can follow along if you have a Siddur, if you downloaded one or you're following it online on page 20. I also think Rabbi Daniel probably has a overlay, I think, of the Torah portion. As Rabbi Susan referenced, this Torah portion you're chanting from is from your original bat mitzvah date back in the summer. And so we're revisiting with you this amazing story in the book of Bamidbar. And so that's why this is Shalach Lecha. This is the portion that Lily's been working on. And now we're finally going to hear it from you after a long pause. And as you know, we want to surround your chanting of Torah, which is a big deal. You know, chant from Torah for the first time. That's really why you become bat mitzvah. You know, it's so you can do this mitzvah for a whole community of people that is gathered virtually to be part of this Shabbat service. So we want to make sure we surround this mitzvah that you're doing with blessings, and we call them aliyah. This sort of kind of coming up to the Torah and making a blessing for all of Torah's gifts and for the gift of us hearing the words of Torah on Shabbat. And for the first aliyah, it's going to be a video of Paige and Andrew, your aunt and uncle, who I also know and who grew up at CRC. I'm going to call them to the Torah with their Hebrew names, and then we're going to hear their blessing. And then, Lily, you'll start to your first aliyah of chanting. So, Ya'amdu Avram Pinchas v'Pircha Fegele Aliyah LeTorah, one of your aunts, one of your uncles, Aliyah Rishonah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach, Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed, Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim, V'natan Lanu et Torato, Baruch Ata Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Okay. V'yedaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, shlach lecha anashim, v'yetru be'eretz Canaan, asher ani noten libnei Yisrael, ish echad lematei avotav, tishlach kol nasi vahem. V'yishlach otam Moshe mimidbar paran al pi Adonai, kulam tanashim asher b'nei Yisrael he'emon.
And the blessing after.
Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet, V'chayi Olam Nata B'Takenu, Baruch Ata Adonai Notei HaTorah.
Beautiful, wonderful job. So I also wanted to make sure, Lily, before your second aliyah, I mention your teacher, Rabbi Jim, who has worked with you and has been working with you, I think mostly online, but wanted to recognize him, and you'll hear from him in just a bit. But we are on to the second aliyah, which is going to be your mom and your dad. So I'm going to invite them to come back up to your side. and I'm going to call them to the Torah with their Hebrew names. So come on up, Aaron and Chris. Ya'amdu Chaim David Va'avala Chaya Aliyah Torah Sheni, your parents.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarak, Baruch Adonai Hamvarak Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Bakar Banu Mikol Ha'amim, V'natan Lanu et Torato, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Ve'ele Shemotam, Namate Rehbein, Shemua ben Zakur, Namate Shimon Shaphat ben Chori, Namate Yehuda Kalev ben Yehunan, Namate Yisachar Yigal ben Yosef, Namate Ephraim Hoshea bin Nun, Namate Binyamin Pati ben Rafu, Namate Zebulun Gadiel ben Sadi, Namate Yosef Namate Menashe, Hadi ben Susi, Namate Dan Amiel ben Gemali, Namate Asher Situr ben Mikael, Namate Naphtali Nachbi ben Vosi, Namate Gad Geuel ben Mochi.
And the blessing after.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet, V'kayei Olam Nata B'Tokenu, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Amen. Why don't you guys stay up there, because I'm about to call Lily up for her Aliyah, even though she's been our Torah amazing Torah chanting. But this is your Aliyah coming up, Lily, where I'll call you by your Hebrew name, which includes the names of your parents as well. And this portion is filled with names, all those wonderful names that you've been chanting from the portion. And so it's an honor, Lily, really and truly, to finally call you to the Torah as a bat mitzvah. We had a great year last year in 7th grade, and I keep thinking about this since Purim was just a week or so ago. And our 7th grade class last year, including Lily, we put on the Purim Carnival just days before we had to close the synagogue temporarily to keep people safe from the pandemic. And your class, in a really difficult circumstance, did a bunch of mitzvahs last year, and I know that you've continued to do mitzvahs. Now you're working with Rabbi Daniel to be, to keep on helping our community grow and prosper, even as we shelter in place. So, and I'm just proud of how you have kept with it, your prayers and your Torah, even with the delay. You sound amazing, Lily, and it's not easy. It's not easy anyways, but especially under conditions like this. But this is the essence of bat mitzvah. You did it really on your own in many ways. We were here to help you, but boy, have you come through. And that's what a bat mitzvah is. You are ready to fully represent our community and our people and the world as an emerging adult on the path to being just an amazing young woman. And so I'm going to call you by your Hebrew name, which of course sounds a lot like your everyday name. It's Lilit, but then you have the Shoshana, which is flower or rose, and that kind of reminds us of the bloom in your middle name, which is obviously also a family name. So many connections. So I hope that we're going to use this Hebrew name now, but this won't be the last time you'll use your Hebrew name. There'll be many moments in your life where that name will be prominent. And it's wonderful to have more than one name. And this is a sacred name. So I'm going to call you to the Torah so you can finish up your chanting. And I'm calling you to the Torah as a bat mitzvah, as a daughter of our tradition. Ta'amod Lilit Shoshana Bat Chaim David Va'avala Chaya Aliyah Torah Bat HaMitzvah. The blessing before.
Okay. Baruch et Adonai Hamvara, Baruch Adonai Hamvara Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim, V'natan Lanu et Torato, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Okay. אלה שמות אנשים אשר שלח משה לתור את הארץ ויתם משה לשיר בינון והשוע וישלח אותם משה לתור את ארץ כנען ויאמר להם עלו זה בנגב ועליתם את ההר וראיתם את הארץ מפי ואת העם היושב עליך וזכו הרבה Hamatu Imra. Okay, after Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam atah b'tochenu Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Get a hug from your mama and kol hakavod. There you go. Beautiful. Kol hakavod. Great job. Aaron, you could have a seat. How about if you're, let's do this. Why don't we have your brother or sisters kind of come back and help you get that Torah put away, because we're going to continue with the service. We're going to hear your Devar Torah. And as they're doing that with you, we always use this opportunity, having heard words of Torah, to bring to mind people in our lives and in the world who could use some healing. People who are ill and suffering and mourning and vulnerable, especially, not especially, but we know there are a lot of people in this time of pandemic who could use a healing touch. And so we remind ourselves that the spirit of Torah is the spirit of healing and of love. And so we're thinking about all those people in your lives and our lives in the world who could use healing, whether it's, we know people need that healing from the professionals, but there's also the healing that all of us can provide just from our love and our hearts and visits and all the things that we can do to bring healing. And so I'm going to sing the healing prayer on page 22. It says, we hope and pray that the one who blessed our ancestors, Misha Berach, will continue to bless us and those we love and those who need refuah shlema, complete healing of mind and body and spirit. Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBrecha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor HaBrecha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And then we say, Baruch Atah Adonai Rofei HaCholim. Blessed is the Holy One in holiness, who helps us find ways to bring healing to those who are ill. Amen. And now, Lily, we're going to hear what's called a Devar Torah, your commentary on all that you've been studying and learning, this portion, Shalach Lecha, what it means to you, what it means to the 21st century. And so take a deep breath and get ready. And we're ready to Shema, to listen and to learn.
In the Torah portion that I just read from, the story is about God telling Moses to send out 12 scouts to see what the Promised Land is like. But first, let me give you some backstory. Earlier, the Israelites were slaves in Egypt. Moses was called to lead the people out of slavery. But when Moses wanted to save them, the Israelites were afraid at first. But the suffering of slavery helped them overcome that fear, so they agreed to follow Moses into the desert in search of the Promised Land. The Israelites traveled for 2 years and got to the edge of the land they had been searching for. From their campsite, God tells Moses to send out 12 emissaries to see what the land is like. They set off. After 40 days of scouting, the 12 come back and told Moses, Aaron, and all the Israelites what they saw. The scouts told them how beautiful the land was, but the people already living there were too powerful. They said, we were like grasshoppers and they were like giants. Actually, 10 of the scouts thought it was too dangerous, but 2 of the scouts, Joshua and Caleb, thought that they could conquer the land. However, hearing this information from the 10 who claimed it was too dangerous, the Israelites were not too happy and became afraid again, just like they were at the beginning of their journey. They said they would rather go back to being slaves in Egypt than go into the unknown of Canaan. It was scarier to face an unknown future, good or bad, than to face a bad situation that they were familiar with and used to. Their fear got in the way of faith, and this made God angry. As punishment, God ordered that the whole generation that questioned going into Canaan wander in the wilderness for 38 more years. This meant that the generation that gave into their fear would have to die off before the next generation was allowed to enter the Promised Land. The only exception was for Joshua and Caleb, who wanted to enter in the first place. They became the new leadership after the death of Moses. Besides the two of them, only the children of the next generation were able to enter the Promised Land. In my portion, the scouts let fear stop them from trying to reach their goal. My Torah portion made me think of how fear can stop us from doing things we want to do as well. Everyone would have been let into the Promised Land if it weren't for their fear. Just like in the story, fear makes us unable to live life to its fullest, accomplish things, or in this case, get into the Promised Land. You can enjoy life so much more if you try to overcome fear. One way you can do it is by trying really hard to do something related to what you're afraid of. For example, I'm afraid of heights. 2 years ago, on our summer vacation, our family went on a hike to the Badlands. We climbed a very steep ladder and hiked along tall cliffs. It was very, very scary, but I pushed through my fear and got to see some amazing sights. Since that experience, I am now much less afraid of heights. Fear can also make us not only afraid of new experiences, but also people who are different from us. It can cause us to put up walls and shut certain people out we fear. Like the Israelites in the story, we fear the unfamiliar and find familiar situations and people comforting. If we let go of our fears and embrace our differences, then we can remove walls and exist together peacefully. Taking it a step further, if we put ourselves in the shoes of people who are different from us, then we can better understand their experiences. That understanding can give us the courage to speak up for others and create a more fair and just society. A different ending to my Torah portion would be that even if the 10 scouts were afraid, they had overcome that fear and asked to see the land. If they did that instead of letting fear overpower them, then they might have been invited to live in the Promised Land where everyone would have been happy together.
Yasher Koach, I'm going to turn things over to Rabbi Jim, your teacher.
Lily, Lily, that was a nice talk, Lily. You know, I never heard that because my work with you, we worked on the details, the sounds and the thoughts I hadn't heard. And it's nice not to hear it because then I can listen to you fresh. And that was a beautiful talk you gave, overcoming fear. It's really lovely. I won't forget it. I won't forget it. Lily, so lovely, Lily. I love your name and your beautiful person, your beautiful self, your beautiful name, your beautiful self. In our book, we're building a sanctuary in the portion that is actually for today. We're building something in the wilderness, and we understand that sanctuary is a symbol of God's forgiveness for we had a slip with the golden calf, and we made a mistake. And what we wanted was a leader, so we asked for a God, but we didn't have a good leader, or we missed our leader. He didn't come back in time. So when he delayed coming, we were thrown off from our course, we got afraid. And when we got afraid, anything could happen. And the ending wasn't as perfect as the way you imagined, And I love it that the way you imagined the ending, if to overcome fear. But that's not the portion you're reading because your bat mitzvah occurs during the era of COVID, which means everything is off its course, everything. You're reading about the names of the tribes that move through the wilderness. Every tribe, every name, every person, dear, important. So we name them all, and that's a good reading for this time in our lives, don't you think? Every person, so dear, so important. Every person significant, even the ones we cannot identify. Everyone means something to someone. And So we remember them, and they mean something to us because you just chanted their names. You beautified their names. We had to be a little flexible for these bar mitzvahs because in the era of COVID. But it could have been worse, you know. It could have been in the previous era. And not to mention any names, but that's a serious thing when you don't mention a name. From your reading, every person, every name is significant. And if we leave a name out, that's significant too. Some of the names are for good and most for good. Most of them are for good. Some are not so good. We remember all of them. It might especially be important to remember those who did not do much good so that it doesn't happen again. That's your job, Lily, Lilith, Shoshana. You are the future. Look into the future, Lily. It's you. Remember all the names, what they did, every person, what they did not do, so you and we can do better. So you and we cannot do what they did. We have to know the past to be better than the past. We have to know the past to be better from the past. You know who said that? Everybody. Everybody. Congratulations, Lily. I loved teaching you. Thank you for being my student.
Sure. So, but there's more blessings, Lily, because you deserve them. Not only are the rabbis proud of you, and that's all of us, but also your congregation, you know, the congregation of you and your family. And so a wonderful member of our board of directors, Patrick Thimangu, has recorded a video to express to you the pride that your synagogue, CRC, has for you, and to tell you about some gifts that are coming your way from CRC. So here's Patrick.
Congratulations, Mazel Tov, on your bat mitzvah, which is tomorrow. And we would like, on behalf of the board of the congregation, I'd like to present you with this certificate that says you've become a bat mitzvah, and that 2 trees have been planted in your honor in Israel, and 1 tree will be planted in a majority Jewish neighborhood, and the other in a largely Arab neighborhood. And it is our hope that the 2 trees will grow together in a land filled with justice and peace, and that you will one day visit and see the fruits of all that has been planted. Now, in addition to the certificate, we've got another little present for you, and it's a tzedakah jar. And the hope is that you'll continue contributing. It's a symbolic thing, but it's also a practical thing, that you'll continue doing good deeds and mitzvahs as you go on. And so, once again, congratulations and Mazel Tov.
Thank you, Patrick. And I'm going to ask now, your parents have those gifts, your certificate and the tzedakah jar. So if you'll come up and give those to your daughter. There you go, your certificate and your tzedakah jar. And you can just put those down and enjoy them and use them, and we know you will. And so, Lily, we're coming towards the conclusion of the service. We have some more blessings and some celebrating that your family is going to do with you. But we always make sure that before the end of the service, that we save time, as Rabbi Jim so beautifully said, you know, for honoring, remembering those who came before us, you know, that everybody is dear and precious to somebody or to somebodies. And that's really true. And that's why we have a Kaddish moment to remember those who came before us and those whose names and stories we remember. And so on page 26, Lily, I know that you and your family have some remembrances and some names that you'd like to add to this Kaddish moment.
Okay. Today I'm adding special prayers in remembrance of my great-grandparents, Phyllis Bloom, Alvin Bloom, Billy Ellis, Jim Livermore, Bob Fisher, Irma Rehbein, and John Rehbein, my great-uncle Ron Livermore, a family friend, John Kepler, and the Honorable Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, may their memories be a blessing. And I want to add some names. This is your bat mitzvah is happening in the midst of a CRC congregational Shabbat service, and so there are people that we're remembering as a community. I want to just name some of them. We're remembering the mother and the father. These are yard sites. This is the anniversary of the mother and father of Bernie Morgenstern. Their names were James and Ann Morgenstern. It's the yard site of Larry Raskin, the husband of our Miriam Raskin. Esther Rosenthal, Bob Rosenthal's mother. It's also the yard site of Ida Tucson, Eric Tucson's mother, and of Betty Rose Levy, who's the mother of Jerry, Jeff, and Janet Hockman, the grandmother of Benjamin, Angela Olson, and Emily Hockman. It's also the yard site of Steve Miller, Lisa Huxley's husband and a wonderful teacher of Torah with us at CRC for many, many years. Want to also mention Mary Carlson and Mary Goldberg, Abraham Teisner, who is the great-grandfather of Bobby Frauenglass, and I saw there was a comment during the service that somebody misses Bobby's way of clapping during Micha Mocha, so maybe he got some of that from his great-grandpa. And then some of our most recent deaths that are related to our congregation, Alvin Nissenbaum, who was Art Nissenbaum's father, and then Emily Engelhart, Steve Engelhart's mother, Hillary's mother-in-law, Ann Fetterman, and Erwin Pollock, Sharon Pollock's father, Peter Fishman, and Estelle Tootsie Esrock, who was Judy Glazer's sister-in-law, and I'm going to mention Judy again before the end of the service for a mitzvah. Ann Alter, who was Michael Alter's mother and Dana's mother-in-law. Eleanor Flegel, who was Lauren Sagel's mother, and Jack Oglander, a longtime member of CRC and past president and holy man, truly a spiritual presence, who was the husband of Vicki Lander and a father and a grandfather. Mel Padower, Jerry Padower's brother. And those are the most recent deaths since 2021. And I want to give everyone a moment at home to say the name out loud of someone whose name you haven't heard yet, but whose name is important to you and who you want to keep remembering. And that's why we provide ourselves with this moment to remember. And please go ahead and do that. And I'm going to stand up for this prayer. Here we go. And on page 26, you see the words there of the Kaddish Yatom, of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra kirotei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chai echon v'yom echon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam olmei olmaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, da'amiram be'alma v'imru, amen. Yahei shlam rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru ve'imru. Amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom. Yahaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Amen. Just to make sure everyone knows that if you want to come back for more, tonight Rabbi Susan, Rabbi Jim lead a Havdalah service to end Shabbat at 7 p.m. All kinds of ways to get connected to CRC through social action, social justice, and adult education. Check our website, and you'll see everything that's coming up. Also, just, Lily, you're the first of 3 bat and bar mitzvahs in a row from your last year's class. 2 other bat and bar mitzvahs that were delayed. Sylvia Haynes is next Saturday, and then Ethan Pryor 2 weeks. So if you're watching and you're in Lily's class, come back for more next week and the week after. I know that your classmates will really appreciate it, like Lily has appreciated it. But as I said, Lily, there's more blessings to come, and these blessings I think are just really, we're really anticipating having your mom and dad come back so they can give you their words to you of pride and gratitude, blessing and love. So Aaron and Chris, come on back.
Right, trying to hold it together. Lily Bloom, nearly 14 years ago, on July 28th, 2007, when you were 18 days old, your father and I stood on the bima at CRC with you and gave you your Hebrew name, Lilit Shoshana. This special name represents both the delicate, beautiful flower lily and the strong feminist spirit of the first Lilith. Throughout your time so far, you have embodied the strength and beauty of your name. You are compassionate and you care for others. You feel emotions so hard that sometimes it causes you physical pain. You believe strongly in social justice and will fight for what you know is right. I know that this bat mitzvah is not exactly how you envisioned it, with many pivots during the last year, even up until this week. But through it all, you were able to persevere and power through. And I am so, so proud and amazed by your grace and fortitude. 13 and a half years ago, we stood on that bima with you and gave you this blessing. This is the actual one right here. And we said, Lily Bloom, like all parents, we want you to be happy and healthy, but we also hope to instill in you self-confidence and a creative spirit. Know that we will love and support you through whatever paths your life may take. We are so excited and honored to be able to watch you grow and develop into your own person. Although you are still getting started on your journey, you have already more than exceeded the hopes and dreams we have for you as new parents. I am still so excited and honored to watch you continue to grow and develop into the best Lily you can be. The world is a better place because you are in it.
And your mother's the smart one and wrote all her stuff down. So I just wanted to say this is a day about you becoming an adult, becoming a woman. I don't know where the time has gone. I really don't. It blows my mind. But you're so full of strength and love, laughter. You make me smile every day. And I am so proud of you. And I told you we were going to do it, so yeah.
Hey, Chris, let's see that one more time. You did that. You guys did that so fast. Yeah, definitely.
Oh.
Awesome. Thank you. So stay up there. But before we do the closing blessings, and I do want to say that I told you we're also proud of you, Lily, and all the people that are part of our education team. I think are especially filled with pride. And so I know Maura Maxine is watching you become bat mitzvah, and I want to make sure I mention that this is the yard site, the first anniversary of her wonderful father Sanford's passing. So I want to remember Sanford Goldman on this Shabbat as well. Thinking about how important educating our children is. That's the heart of it all. So let's see. Let's do this. Let's bring up let's Sam and Eloise and Annabelle. Can you guys come up one more time? Are they all dispersed? There they are. Look at that. Look at that mishpacha. There was a New York Times column, David Brooks, who talked all about the word mishpacha yesterday. And there you are, the inner circle of this family surrounding Lily. Do you guys have the Kiddush cup and the challah? Aha. All right. The first Kiddush, Lily, hold the cup filled with sweetness and holiness, just like the sweetness and holiness that you filled every single home that watched your bat mitzvah. And so we make a blessing for holiness. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Take a sip. Go ahead, take a sip. Amen. And l'chaim to life. And then challah. So I told you I would mention Judy Glazer again. Judy Glazer is a member of CRC. We call her Grandma Judy. And she has been baking challahs for all of our students who are having their bar and bat mitzvahs online. And there it is, Grandma Judy's challah. I delivered it yesterday. It smelled so good. So excited that you guys get to eat it now and sell it, right? Doesn't it? Still, yeah, in celebration of your bat mitzvah. So for the blessings of gratitude and for all that we have to share with each other. And I know you guys are going to have a festive celebration bat mitzvah meal, starting with the challah. So I'll make the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam motzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Go ahead, Lily. You've been doing all the work, so take the first bite if you want to share some challah with your family. And we're going to prepare to give you one more blessing with all the rabbis. There's Rabbi Jim and Rabbi Susan. I don't know if Rabbi Daniel can put himself back on the screen. Hey, Lily and Aaron and Chris, I want to give you a heads up. Some point soon, listen outside your door there on Shaw, and there's going to be CRC wants to show you in a socially distant way how much we love you and how proud we are of you. So just listen. You might hear some horns honking, and have a socially distant oneg on behalf of our CRC volunteers and members. So I don't think I missed anything. Rabbi Daniel, I missed anything? All right. Why don't you guys put your arms around Lily? You can put that challah down, Chris. And Lily, our arms, all of our arms are around you too. I hope you feel that. Mazel tov. You did an amazing job. I hope you feel so good. You are bat mitzvah. Finally, it happened just in the nick of time, just at the right time. And so we'll make this blessing. We put our arms around you. And from all of us to you guys. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you always.
May you take some of the light that I hope you are feeling. I know you can't see so many of the people who are sending you love, but Lily, I have this chat thing open next to me, and you should see how many hundreds of people are sending you love right now. So I hope you can feel their light. And Rabbi Susan.
Rabbi Jim.
Yisarona panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be lifted to you and give you peace, 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 peace. Bless us with peace. Bless us with peace.
Amen. We love you. Mazel tov. I think there's one more video with a song. I hope you guys celebrate. You did great, Lily. Mazel tov. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Have a great rest of the day.
All Israel, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, all of all Israel, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, all of all Israel, sing it out. Mazel tov, singen tov, hey, lanu. Amen, 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 amen. Shabbat shalom, 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 Shabbat shalom. Amen, 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 amen.